And I woke up at 3:30
Oh,
a.m.
you need more rest, Tega. Sorry, you've been working so hard. Find out on Twitter at Tega Supreme Lagos and send your messages through WhatsApp to us on 0809 444 0981.
And you can also send us a tweet at Smooth981FM. Use the hashtag LockerRoom981.
Our first story is up here. Africa's champions, Nigeria, will continue preparations for the FIFA Women's World Cup in France in 2019 at the annual Cyprus Women's Cup tournament, which kicks off today and ends on March 6th in the southern coastal city of Larnaca. Now, drawn in Group C, the Super Falcons will open their account at the Cyprus Cup against Austria today, to be followed with a match against Slovakia on March 1st and Belgium 3 days later. In a statement made by Super Falcons assistant coach Maureen Mado, she said, "Our preparation for the World Cup in France is going well because this tournament in Cyprus would give us the chance to look at the players again. This tournament in Cyprus is another opportunity to have a look at the players that we are likely to take to the World Cup in France, and I can say that our preparation towards the World Cup is well on course." She concludes by saying the inclusion of Asisa Toshola and Desire Baranozia is a big boost because they were not available when we played at the last China Women's Tournament, and I believe we're going to improve very well as we build up towards the World Cup in France.
Yes, I think this is going to be their final push. I don't think the NFF was able to arrange any other friendlies, but this is enough, more than enough matches, and with various opponents from um, different parts, different confederations.
Yes.
So there's Mexico, there's Belgium, there's North Korea. So we pretty much covered the bases. And so this is a good tournament for them to push. Without Assisat and Desire, Nigeria came third out of fourth at that China tournament.
Wait, third out of four.
But we came third.
At last.
Just don't put it in context, and you will feel better about it.
Oh.
But this is totally different. Now this is the main push. This is where they're going to know what team is my preferred first 11, starting 11, and then what team am I really going to take to France for the World Cup. So they've invited everybody, big and small, young and old. I mean, new and from before. So let's just know which team is going to help us with the World Cup. And I guess it's a good thing that we have this tournament. And I'll take kudos to the NFF for actually doing their job.
Yes.
It's not like they did extra; they just did
Yeah,
their
at
job.
least they tried.
They did their job this time.
Yes.
We're
So-
proud. You have to give them.
So I'll just say kudos to them, and I hope the girls and the coaches are already looking to take advantage of it. I hope the girls put in their best foot forward. But sometimes you don't want to play too much so you don't get injured. Because you have to be at the World Cup. There's no need playing your best
Save your leg.
pre-World Cup, and then you get to the World Cup and you can't play because you're not fit or
If
something.
anybody wants to tackle you, just jump over there.
Don't jump over their leg. I'll just be like, you can have the ball.
You can have the ball. It's for free.
It's free.
It's fine.
All right, let's move on from football temporarily to the world of tennis. Roger Federer beat Philip Kohlschreiber to reach Dubai Championships last 16. Roger Federer's attempt to win his 100th ATP singles title saw him overcome a midway match wobble to beat Philip at the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. Now, Federer said in his on-court interview, "Somehow get through, somehow try not to lose. I'm very pleased I was able to find a way. I actually played a really good third set, I thought." Now, Federer will next face Fernando Verdasco, the 2017 Dubai runner-up to Andy Murray.
Yes. So Fernando Velasco's game is today. It's one of the night matches. So starting at, I think he's the second person on the center court. So he may be on around maybe 6 or 7 because the night matches start at 5 p.m. Today. But he's a 7-time champion at this tournament. Dubai is pretty much the place where he practiced and he trained. So this is his kind of second home. And he's looking, the fact that during the pre-tournament conference he kept talking about trying to get his 100th title means that he's giving it a good push. The first match didn't give anybody any high hopes, but then again in recent tournaments I've noticed Federer has a smooth first set, and then he struggles with his serves in the second set, and then he bounces back. with the third set, if there is a third set. And that's exactly what happened, or precisely what happened against Philip Kohlschreiber on Monday. It was a good first set, then a pretty tricky second set, and then he came back in the third set. So it's not something new, but it's something that his coaches have to look at and work on. Because if it's the best of 3 sets, like this tournament is, and like most masters are, all masters are, then it's going to be a problem over time. So it's something that they need to look at and work on. But he really is trying to, he's not really looking at it as this is going to be my 8th Dubai title. He's more looking at it like this is going to be my 100th title. Let me just cross that 100 hurdle so that the monkey is off my back, and then I can move on with my life. And so that's what it is. So today, that's who he faces. Fernando Verdasco. Let's see how that turns out.
Alright, keep your messages coming into WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is 0809-444-0981. You can send a tweet with the hashtag LockerRoom981. Our next story is about Chelsea. So Chelsea manager Maurizio Sarri says he does not want to kill goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he has not yet decided if the Spaniard will start against Tottenham on Wednesday. He says in his words, I have to decide if he'll play. Maybe yes, maybe not. Sarri said. He made a really big mistake. He continues, for me, it is finished. The Italian added, I spoke with Kepa, but we spoke all together because he said sorry to the technical staff, but it was not enough. Then he said sorry to his teammates and to the club. I think he made a big mistake, but we need to be bigger. We do not want to kill him. Are they using those words?
At first, I said it was a misunderstanding. Now it's a mistake. Tomorrow we'll know it's an error. But what it is that he's been fined a week's wages. And I don't think Kepa has been having a good day. So yes, he's saying that they don't want to kill him, but they're definitely making him pay for that. He's apologized to everybody and their grandmothers. Hopefully they'll be able to put this behind them and past them and play this very big game against Tottenham today. Tottenham getting into form, getting Harry Kane back. Yes, they lost their last match, but they're looking to bounce back against Chelsea, and they know how to play their London rivals. Chelsea, with their inconsistent performance, win today, win one today, lose one tomorrow, and sometimes always win against Malmo but lose against the other people in the top 6. And that's the Chelsea that is going to come in to play today. You don't want this question of Kepa, who is going to be in goal. There's going to be that the new person that is coming in, is he just a replacement because of the punishment period? What do I have to do to keep this position? There's just too much tension already from the fact that you're facing Tottenham than this addition of Arrizabalaga's problems with the coach. But he's going to have to, the coach is going to need to do this to be able to get some kind of authority back, some measure of authority back in the dressing room. And Kepa is going to have to suffer this so that another player doesn't wake up in the morning and say, I'm also not going to want to be substituted tomorrow. Or maybe I just don't want to play. And then he comes in dressed in his mufti. And then that's a totally different kettle of fish. But the most important thing for Sarri today is try and get a result against Tottenham. It's a big ask. It's a tough one. The job was already on the line, in quotes, with the performance against Manchester City. Fortunately for him, what's his name? The owner of Chelsea now is Roman Abramovich. Is having his own personal problems. So if you were not doing that, you would have been able to focus on this and maybe fire him via text message. But Chelsea, Sarri does need to get those results in. He's already dropped out of top 4, and this is not going to. And this midweek fixture is not going to make it any easier for him. So focus on the match, punish, kill Kepa later if you want to.
I hope it's figuratively speaking.
Figuratively.
Lagos, when we come right back, we'll bring you Uncle Buru.
Yes.
Here on the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1.
I'll take the next story. So, so it's Man U Crystal Palace. Arsenal won. They said Ramos has. They found a tape where he confessed to the reporters without knowing.
Problems are many.
Because he don't get full option for payment. What you say? Get full option. He go with Visa on mobile.
Shove the next level.
Only need to do now
My
to tell
God.
customer to open their bank app, select
There are
scan
so
to
many
pay,
that are
scan
men
the
and
QR code,
like
and just like
Oh,
that,
yes,
see
and it's
like
leaving a
sharp
treble
sharp.
behind.
So no let shit wear you for your shop. Visit any first bank today. Make
No,
you
but
stay
a
on top.
treble is a
Visa on
treble. It's on
mobile,
your resume.
another easy way to collect your money. You
Nigeria has
first.
just.
First
You should have
bank.
just finished that season.
Here comes the shortest connection to Washington.
It's
Back
the
to
South
the Premier
African
League.
Airways and Africa
Rock
World
Club Leicester.
Airlines partnership, right?
In partnership with
They give
Africa
him money
World
to spend.
Airlines,
He's
South
just- he's
African
just gonna
Airways
ship- he's just gonna
customers
ship
can now
all
connect
the
to
Celtic
Washington
guys.
from Lagos and
It's
Abuja
Rock Club
via
Leicester.
Accra 4 times
Because they won't
weekly
give you
with
time to
special
enjoy
fares
that.
and
Which
2-piece
club-
baggage
which other
allowance.
club?
You can now check
Yeah,
in your
this-
bags straight to
Rock
Washington
Club
from
Leicester,
Lagos and
because
Abuja.
they've been
Wow,
spoiled.
saves time and
See,
unnecessary
they've won that
hassles.
league
South
now.
African
In their
Airways
mind,
and
there should be
Africa
Europe
World
every year.
Airlines are truly coming together to
Believe that
take
he
us
can actually-
further.
For more
I believe that he
information,
can
visit
actually keep them in Europe.
flysaa.com
Get them into
or call
Europe.
the Lagos office on
It's-
01-270-2681, the Abuja office on
I know, I-
09-290-0170,
Especially for that mid-
or
that
contact the
mid-table
nearest
side.
travel
But
agent.
I think
South
that
African
with him,
Airways, bringing the
has-
world to Africa
he
and
somehow
taking
has a
Africa to
scouting
the world.
network that has allowed him to unearth players.
Hey
that
there,
will come
you know
through.
how navigating through
Not too
Lagos in rush hour
expensive, not
traffic
too
is
pricey,
tiring?
depending on where
The kind
you
of
are.
traffic that leaves
And
you
he's
tired and
managed
your
to
tank
get,
on red.
he'll be
So
able
you
to get
know
them
you've got to
playing
fuel
a
your
brand
tank
of
and your
football. I
body
think the fans
every
will
chance
first
you
of
get,
all.
right?
Okay,
That's
Cool.
what-
let me
The
tell you
Total
one
Power
thing. If
promo
he
from
does
Total
manage to
does
get them
just
playing
that.
this season,
Energizes
it
your
doesn't
car
manage-
and your
Not
body.
this season,
Okay,
this season.
here is how it works.
It doesn't
Simply
doesn't
drive
mind.
into
No, I'm
select
saying
Total
playing
service
the
stations
football. I'm not
between
even
the hours of
necessarily
6
going to
p.m.
drive.
and 8 p.m. Fuel
It
your
doesn't
tank with
guarantee that
3,000
halfway
naira
through
or
next
more
season
and
it's
win
not going to
instantly a
fire.
free chilled
That's the
bottle
thing
of
about this
Fearless
league.
energy drink from Right Foods Limited. With no extra cost. Fuel your car.
Then now
fuel
Ranieri
your
won
body
league next week. He
because
was
you
fired.
matter.
Next season was
February
fired.
11, 2019 till while stocks last. Available
Let's
in
start
select
this
service
I
stations.
think that's what
See
it is.
brochures and
And
handbills
the
for
fact that
more
that man
details.
passed on, and it's now the
Committed to
son
better
or
energy.
somebody, one British family member. that is there.
Simple rules for driving
I
safely
think that one, this
around
whole person
Lagos.
here is looking at bottom
Did
line.
you know that the
That man was
highway
looking at
code
the
has
clock.
rules about warning signals? When you see the danger sign, slow down till further
Before
notice
Schmeichel-
to a crawl
Schmeichel's
if
father will
need
not come
be.
and be
Do
sacked.
not
Do you
exceed
understand?
50
Schmeichel come out
kilometers
to
per
put
Let's
hour.
go back.
Simple rules
Mics
for
are up.
driving safely
Studios
around
live.
Lagos.
And this is Smooth 98.1. Still talking sports inside of the locker room. We're joined by Tega Supreme and Brutalistics. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Very well. Let's go to the next stories. But remember, you can send in your messages through WhatsApp 0809 444 0981.
Right here in football, not normal to play two big games in the same week. Gareth Bale dominated the build-up to the first of two Clásicos in 4 days, but Santiago Solari and Ernesto Valverde each tried to instill calm ahead of any extraordinary week for Real Madrid and Barcelona. It's not normal to play two games of this magnitude in the same week, said Barcelona coach Valverde yesterday, but it can happen. Our intention is to separate them and focus on the one in front of us. The one on Saturday is still far away. We have to just keep doing what we have been doing, said Real boss Solari. The first leg was good for us. Hopefully it can be again today.
Yes. First of all, let's touch on Gareth Bale and his different issues with his teammates. So, the first teammates are saying he's not communicating with them. He's not trying to get close. He's been in Spain for a while now. Doesn't learn to speak Spanish. Beyond me, doesn't want to hang with them. Things like that. Then Gareth Bale comes on the pitch on Sunday, scores a penalty, and people try to celebrate with him, and he's brushing them off. Like, I'm the diva here. You can imagine the way that I would have pulled out my hair if I were the coach. But so talking about different people, you can't. I mean, even if you don't have to be best of friends with your teammates, but somebody is trying to celebrate with you and you are visibly brushing him off in front of you're not even presenting a united front.
No
For
team
me,
spirit.
no things, nothing. He's going next transfer market, he's out of there if I'm the one. No, because people don't understand the importance of that team spirit. It then, before you know it, you get on the pitch and you're not passing ball to certain players,
Yeah.
or you're not running with certain players with the ball so that they don't pass to you.
Football is a team sport.
It's a team sport, and ultimately it's just sad. But they showed that Real Madrid tried to do some PR where they showed them in training laughing, and I was just like, oh God, we've done this thing before. It's PR, we know. But what it is barring that Gareth Bale and his diva princess behavior, we have to go back to the big matter on ground. There's the Copa del Rey second leg taking place today, and right after that, there is the El Clasico on Saturday. Those are two big games that will drain you physically and that will drain you mentally. And we are talking about two sides that are already struggling with players' injuries and suspensions. So the amount of people, the amount of pressure you're putting on those players for two games in 1 week is already too much. And like Longley says in his press conference, it is important for us to just go through the motions and try to get a result. For the Copa del Rey, I think what it will be for Barcelona is, they, first of all, they are defending champions, and they will not want to lose this to Real Madrid. And like Real Madrid physically standing in front of them and beating them to the Copa del Rey will be more painful than anything. And so that's why they're going to pull their all. Going back also into the El Clasico, if Real Madrid beats them on Saturday, then it reduces the gap from 9 to 6 between them, and it's just a little too close for comfort, just when they thought they were giving themselves a breathing space. So it's a strain on both coaches, it's a strain on both teams, with all the players suffering their mid-season slump, but it will still be interesting because of the fact that they're rivals and they're facing each other. It's still going to be high intensity and interesting to watch. I don't know who's going to win today. I don't know where to swing to, but I know that it will be interesting for the neutrals.
And we know we have messages on Twitter.
Yeah, Ibrahim Everest at Abiola says Kepa's case is a blessing in disguise for Mauricio Sarri. Overshadowed the fact that Chelsea lost the cup final and are in big crisis. Manchester is red. Rido Remy says, if Kepa starts today, I'm sorry to say Sarri has totally lost the dressing room. Tottenham to grab all 3 points. As for Manchester United, we all need to grind out results due to the number of injured players in the squad. 1-0 is okay, sir. Right, then Hussein CFC agent said Liverpool should not falter tonight. United to drop points.
All right. On WhatsApp, we have Lukman from Ijabode sending this one. It says, for Kepa issues, the coach said it's over. He has apologized to his teammates and the club management. I want to know if Caballero has really forgiven him. Also, predicting a draw against Tottenham, and I hope Arsenal drops points to Manchester United to win at the Park, despite the injuries worries. All right, let's continue now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says that the increased workload he's demanding of Manchester United's players is partly responsible for the recent spate of injuries. Well, United could do without 9 senior players for Wednesday's Premier League game at Crystal Palace. When he was asked about the connection, United's caretaker manager said, it is probably linked. Yes, you have seen what I've chosen. You will need to play as a Manchester United team. If you want to be a part of Manchester United, it's a survival of the fittest, isn't it?
Is it a survival of the fittest, or should there perhaps have been a smarter training management schedule? You've already lost a couple of key players ahead of the game against Liverpool. You've got a couple of other games coming up that are just as crucial. You're playing Crystal Palace today, and then next week you're facing an equally important game against PSG. There needs to be some sort of training schedule that would make sure that these guys don't either overstrain themselves and put themselves at risk of injury. Because really and truly, at the end of the day, when you're auditioning to all intents and purposes for a permanent role, somebody somewhere is looking at how you manage the players long term. If this was your full season, what excuses would you be making if results suddenly don't go your way? So I'm not buying this. There's a sense of for me, a measure of naivety in the way this has been managed, which is surprising considering some of the people he has in his backroom staff who have worked at one point or the other with Sir Alex Ferguson. So it's not the best. That said, and they're coming up against a Crystal Palace team that is in form right now. They beat Claude Puel into a sacking in Leicester City. They've come up with some really important results. Everyone remembers Manchester City and what they did to them.
Yes.
Whether people are hoping that history will repeat itself in that light, in terms of that result, there is a possibility that can happen against this clearly under-strength team. And the questions will be asked as to why you had to push the players that hard without giving them a rest period, without managing the rotation as it should be, because clearly there are rotation issues here. The number of players that have started with regularity to play the way he wants them to play and things like that. That said, if Manchester United win this, nobody's going to remember whether he overworked them or what.
I always say this thing: managers like who they like. You know, you blame one manager. He did not play Fred. He has gone now. This manager is still not playing Fred. I mean, this manager would rather play a half fit, and it's a muscle injury, which means it takes longer. This manager would rather play a half fit Jesse Lingard than send on a Sanchez or a Fred onto the pitch. Then you can tell the story. Next story, please.
All right, next story, please. We can definitely tell this one now. Unai Emery calls on Arsenal fans to create positive energy at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal manager Unai Emery has asked his club supporters to create positive energy inside the Emirates Stadium when they take on Bournemouth today. We need our supporters, he said. Today we're going to play at home, and these 3 points are very important. I hope. Tell us about this one.
Arsenal fans historically have always required their players to put in a performance to generate the kind of support that you need. And everyone who watched their game against Southampton in the first half would have seen exactly what we're talking about. They had a commanding performance in that first half, and the fans responded accordingly. The one problem that Arsenal fans would have going away from that game is the inability of Arsenal to be ruthless when they can and should be. That first half should have ended 4 or 5 goals at a stretch.
Hallelujah.
The failure to take those are the things that will count on their ability or inability to finish in the top 4. This battle for the top 4 may end up being a goal difference issue, and many people will go back to that Southampton game and say, why were they not ruthless? Paul Merson has said it, that for a team that can be good against flat-track bullies, they have not delivered when it matters. And that's the key to this. Bournemouth is not going to be, by any means, easy to overcome. And you know, that strength of character, that ruthlessness is what makes the difference, and they need that in this game against Bournemouth. Because Bournemouth will be a walk in the park.
All right, let's hear from our fans on Twitter and WhatsApp. All right, Tosin here says, locker room, Sarri should just focus on winning the game against today's Tottenham than punish Kepa later. Gareth Bale should try to communicate properly with his teammates, and he should try to work on his team spirit. This behavior is not acceptable. If I'm Perez, he should go next transfer season.
I'm telling you.
And we have this one from Chinwe Nancy. Says Sarri should just go arrest Joe.
Chinwe is done with Sarri.
So why is he confusing and contradicting himself? I guess he has lost the dressing room. Oh wow.
Oh wow.
MI from Akoka sent this one as well. It says, when Kepa's action costs you a trophy, it's called a catastrophe. I think since he is the most expensive goalie, Chelsea should have put a hole in his pocket. Arsenal should not give me drama. I've exhausted my quota on elections.
Let them be a compensation to many Arsenal fans. Also, Biggie from K2 says that I trust my Arsenal boys to do justice to reach top 4. But at least this is for you. Thank you, Uncle Boo.
Let's take a break. I like that the name is Stick in Lagos.
Yeah.
This is Smooth 98.1.
It's a good thing I use this time so that we can.
I'm so surprised that Sarri is still there. I'm very surprised.
What happened? Why
undergraduate and postgraduate courses in the UK, US, and Australia.
No, you can't
For
have
more
time for
information,
Sarri.
please call
As in zero time. They're touching his money. He doesn't have time for all this nonsense. Chicken change that he's putting in Chelsea for now. One day we'll just wake up and say, this guy is in the news too much. Sack him.
Number 1
For now,
at
it's
Joel
busy.
Street, Victoria Island,
It is
Lagos.
business and
Kaplan
immigration.
International Pathways,
Let's make
transforming
matters
futures.
worse. Ah, the guy is just not. The guy is just not having it easy.
Enjoy an extra 100 grams free. Start your day with Golden One. Highly nutritious,
This place is
simply
cool.
delicious.
Very cool.
It's really cool. I don't see it. You just came here to show your muscle. So you're cold and you're showing muscle. You're just vain.
Do you know how I rush out?
Just catch pneumonia for vanity.
Shit.
Don't you have sweater in your locker? You want to show them the weight you've been lifting. Asham gay.
earn valuable returns that
So
help
while
make
I'm
your
looking forward
dreams
to
come true.
migrate to
Did I hear you
for the next 4 years.
how I invest can make your money work
That's what I'm going to
non-stop?
be doing now.
Well,
You're looking
I
forward for the next
invest
4
Let's
years.
focus on moving out of Nigeria.
Oh, no,
manage
that
treasury
one.
bills and other investment
No.
instruments
See,
from
let me
the
tell you
comfort
what
of
to
your
say.
phone. Meaning your
Let
idle
him be
money
a
is
new leaf.
instantly
Let
put
him
to
be a
work
new
round
nonsense.
the clock
See,
and
I like
generate
new
profits for you
nonsense.
even while you're
I don't
asleep.
like old
To learn
nonsense.
more, visit
And Buhari is going to be worse because he's not bidding for
or
anything.
download the app from your app store.
So the PG will be times 2. Even the APC that have celebrated today, they're about to cry tomorrow.
Sterling Bank.
Hi, this is Sean Thompson.
I don't think he'll be moderate. I don't even send that article. Let me tell you what it said. I don't care if a monkey wins. I just don't want anybody that failed to come and sit on the place again. That's what I think. I don't care if a rabbit wins.
Sometimes I feel like you need, like, yes, maybe if it's going to
Studio.
be
We're back on. Mics are up. Studio silence, please. It is 8:42, so we'll have 3 minutes left in the locker room. We're talking sports here. It's on Smooth 98.1.
All right, we have the last story there.
Yes, let's take the story from Leicester City. Now, they've confirmed the appointment of Brendan Rodgers as their new manager until June of 2022. And Rodgers told reporters in the statements, the press conference, he said, I know I am joining a fantastic club that has grown so quickly over these last few years. I'm just delighted to be here. I think there was a number of reasons why I joined. I was certainly in no hurry to leave Celtic. It says Celtic is a club that's a huge club worldwide, a renowned club, and I love working with the players there.
Yes, and then
Sound
he
like
won
a
seven.
man.
He won 7 trophies there, and was on his way to winning a treble there. And then Leicester came, and he was like, you know what, this treble is not as important as this money. Let's go and secure the bag. And that's how he potted very quickly.
Very quickly.
You know, I
The
mean,
money was large.
you would think that Leicester, could you hold on to end of season? The end of season is really just 3 months away. It's not far we come. No,
Money doesn't.
it was like treble. We can sort it out later. I'm moving back to the PL. That PL is like a drug. Everybody is, once you get a taste of it, you don't want to leave it. Everybody's just hooked on it and they want to be there. And any route back for him was a great route. So Leicester is not a bad club. They have the right players. And if he brings in 1 or 2 and then tweaks their style a little bit, then he can get them playing good football again, and he can get the results that he deserves, and maybe it will get his CV back up, and he can move on. So he made that move not just for the trophy reasons, because if he won 7 trophies, if he won 7, you'll be all right. It's time to face the EPL and build your CV back up. So I think that's what he's done. He was there for the game yesterday against Brighton, which they won, yeah. And then I heard he'd spoken to the players and he'd spoken to the team just before the game. So he's already gotten himself back into the system and is ready to do the job. So let's wait for the results.
My thing is, and we're talking about this off air, is whether he will be given time and how success for him will be measured. You made the point, a very valid point, that you get the sense that Leicester City and the fans have been spoiled by that Premier League win, and they now feel that that is where they belong.
It should be
and
Europe.
That pressure is part of what led to Claude Puel's sacking, and every sacking that has followed, that has preceded Claude Puel's sacking. Yes, Brendan Rodgers will definitely over time change the style of football. He was playing really good football when he was at Liverpool. He will get that. Whether he will be given time and the resources to bring in the kind of players, he's pretty good at managing his budget. That's one thing. But how he will be measured in terms of success in relation to the fans and the management is what will determine perhaps how long he will be at Leicester City.
All right. Lagos, that's where we say goodbye for Locker Room. Special thanks to our analysts who stepped in this morning to give analysis to the stories, but not without taking one or two last messages here briefly. This is from Tosan.
All right, Tosan says, I'm tired of Arsenal. Whether they make top 4 or not isn't my concern anymore. I gave up on the Arsenal making top 4 when Manchester United, who was in 9th position, is now contending top 4 with Arsenal. All right, Shay here says, the small boy Kepa Arrizabalaga is stubborn like Sarri, who is stubborn with his formation too. Tega, Kepa deserves 73 strokes of the cane. I pray Tottenham beat my Chelsea so they sacked the Sarri to give way for my
Wow.
Zidane. Valentine won that baby pushing Anthony Joshua without respect because now Ajekuya Nyoje.
Oh boy. Lagos, in 14 minutes, we'll actually go into Lagos Talks special to have a conversation based on the results released by the Independent National Electoral Commission. That's for Lagos Talks 981. This is Smooth Breakfast.